What's up, everybody? CT here, and today I'm giving you my 2014 college football preseason top 10. Now, this is my top 10, it's not anyone else's, it's not the actual preseason top 10. This is just basically who I think the 10 best teams are going into this coming college football season. So let's jump right into it. Number 10, I have the Baylor Bears. Now, a little bit of a bad ending last year, losing to UCF in the Fiesta Bowl. Really high scoring game. Defense didn't look good in that game at all. But they returned quarterback Bryce Petty, who's a really good quarterback. He was last year. I expect him to be this year. They're going to throw the ball around, just put a lot of points up, and still have Art Briles as the head coach in that system. They're going to put up points, no doubt about it. They lose C. Strunk at running back. They lose a couple other guys, but from what I've seen, they pretty much plug guys in and get production immediately, and they're going to put up points. So it doesn't matter if they give up a lot of points because they're usually going to put up more than they give up. Number 9, I have the Georgia Bulldogs. They lose Aaron Murray, and that's about all they lost. Absolutely stacked at the skill positions, and Hudson Mason will take over at quarterback. Uh, a fifth-year senior. Uh, if you're going to lose a guy like Aaron Murray, you want a fifth-year senior replacing him. He finished the last two games for Georgia last year. Uh, didn't looked good against Georgia Tech. Didn't look very good against Nebraska, but he didn't look too bad against Nebraska. Receivers weren't helping him out very much. I remember a lot of drop passes. Uh, Defense, I think, will get better as the year goes on, but they will give up some points early on. Uh, Number 8, I have the Ohio State Buckeyes. They return Braxton Miller, who is a Heisman candidate at quarterback. Anytime you have a game changer at quarterback, you got a chance. Uh, the defense concerns me a little bit. They lost some key players there, and they did not look very good on defense in that game against Michigan State in the Big Ten title game and in the Orange Bowl against Clemson. Gave up a lot of points. Not your typical Ohio State defense, but and anytime you have Urban Meyer as your head coach, you got a hell of a chance because he's one of the best in the country. Number 7, I have the South Carolina Gamecocks. They lose Connor Shaw, but kind of like Georgia, they replace him with a fifth-year starter in Dylan Thompson, and Dylan Thompson has played a lot over the past couple of years, so he could actually end up being better than Connor Shaw. He's more of a pocket passer, although he's not really a sitting duck back there. More accurate and more of the typical quarterback that you would expect Steve Spurrier to have. And they have Mike Davis, who is a damn beast at running back position. This guy is an absolute workhorse. I'm a little bit concerned about the defense. Actually, really concerned about the defense because they would like they they would play good towards the beginning of the games last year, but it seems like as soon as the fourth quarter came, they started just getting gashed in the passing game and would give up big leads, and that was with Jadeveon Clowney and Chaz Sutton at the defensive end positions. Now, without those guys, it's going to be even worse pass rush, and their secondary just was not good at all. They lost Swearinger last year, but I think kind of like Georgia, their defense will get better as the year goes on. And number 6, I have the Michigan State Spartans, who, unlike Ohio State, finished the year great last year, beating Ohio State and winning the Big Ten championship, and then beating Stanford in the Rose Bowl. And so they're coming into this season with a lot of momentum. The defense will be really good despite losing some good players. I expect it to be at least. I don't know if it'll be as good as last year, but I think it'll be pretty close. They returned Connor Cook at quarterback. I really like him. And Jeremy Langford will be a beast at running back as well. So, uh, what I expect them to do is play good defense, run the ball with Jeremy Langford and Connor Cook, play action pass over the top, and they're going to be in the mix for getting to that 14 playoffs, I believe. Um, Number 5, the Oregon Ducks. Here's my thing about Oregon. They're always ranked in the top 5, and they always have trouble. They usually have trouble staying there. You cannot get ran over by Stanford again, and I believe Oregon plays Michigan State at the beginning of the year. That will be a very interesting game, and we'll find out right there if Oregon what Oregon's going to be this year, because that's definitely their Achilles heel is these big powerful teams, and Michigan State is exactly that. But they returned Marcus Mariota at quarterback, who is also another Heisman candidate. I was kind of surprised he decided to come back, but he's probably the favorite to win the Heisman right now, excluding maybe Jameis Winston. But Jameis Winston just seems too obvious to me. Like, you never see a Heisman repeat, and it's never the guy you think it's going to be. It's probably not going to be Marcus Mariota either. It's probably going to be some random guy who comes out of nowhere, like it is every other year, pretty much. Uh, so yeah, Oregon's offense, they're going to put up points. Utah's going to put up more than they give up, even though their defense uh, won't be that great. It never really is. And like I said, they have to prove that they can beat these big teams like Michigan State and Stanford if they want to have a chance at getting in that Final Four at the end of the year. Number 4, the Oklahoma Sooners. If anybody is going to be overrated in this top 10, I think it's going to be Oklahoma, because people are taking a lot from that Sugar Bowl win against Alabama last year, and Alabama doesn't really have the best track record uh, once their national title hopes have gone down the drain. Their what do I want to say here? Their excitement for the game usually goes down the drain as well. But I'm not taking anything away from Oklahoma. Trevor Knight played really well in that game, and I think he's going to be really good this year as well. Especially if he plays anything like he did in that game, Oklahoma has a really good chance of getting in that Final Four. And I like the way the defense looks as well. Number 3, I have the Auburn Tigers, coming off of unbelievable year last year, going 3-9, 0-8 in the SEC, to SEC champions, being 12 seconds away from winning the national championship. Uh, but it's going to be different this year. They're going to have a target on their chest. They're not going to target on their back, I guess you could say. They're not going to sneak up on anybody. They're going to get everybody's best shot, being ranked in the top 5. They return Nick Marshall, who is actually, I believe, going to miss that game opener against, or the season opener against Arkansas. But I don't think that will matter at all. Not against Arkansas. And they got Jeremy Johnson, who I think may be better than Nick Marshall as the backup. They're still got Gus Malzahn as head coach, and that offense is going to put up a lot of points. Really, really good at the skill positions. Got 2 really good receivers, good backfield, and they have a really good defensive line. I'm a little bit concerned about the secondary. And they have a tough schedule. That's the only thing that worries me about them getting into that last 4 in the college football playoff. Number 2, I have the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, they're gonna have they're gonna be really motivated coming into this year. That's what makes Alabama so scary. Alabama is usually coming into every year as, trying to win another national championship, trying to have another incredible year. Last year was considered a down year with how badly they finished the year, losing to Alabama and Oklahoma. So they're is probably the scariest team to face right now. Um, they're gonna have a really good defense like they always do. I don't expect anything to change, even though they're losing some good players on that side of the ball. Jacob Coker is really the biggest question for Alabama. It seems like he's going to be good and like he's going to be good enough, but you never know until you see it. But he's gonna have some really good players around him, Amari Cooper and all those running backs they got down there. And they have an easier schedule than Auburn. That's really what I think favors them to get into that Final Four over Auburn. Is Auburn plays South Carolina and Georgia from the East. Alabama plays Tennessee and Florida. So there you go. Number one, defending national champions, Florida State. How could you not really? I mean, I guess you could say Alabama is, you could put them ahead of them, but you got to give credit to where credit's due to the defending champions when they're returning the Heisman Trophy winner from last year in Jameis Winston, and they're returning a lot of really good players, even though they did lose some key players that I have some questions about, like Kelvin Benjamin and DeMarcus Joyner. Uh, but I think they're returning enough to where you can put them at the number one spot still. And that's pretty much it, man. We'll see how it goes. Uh, it never ends. Like I don't think the final top 10 at the end of the year will look anything like this. It never does. But this is who I think the 10 best teams are going right now. You never know what's going to happen tomorrow or but before the season starts or at the beginning of the year. But right now, this is who I would go with, and that about does it. I think I'm about to go watch some of this preseason NFL game. Just happy to have football back on the TV again. Lets me know it's that much closer until the college football season and regular season NFL. And I'll be covering the college season all year, and I'll be covering the Carolina Panthers in the NFL. So if you want to subscribe, you can do that. But I never tell anyone to subscribe. But I'm just letting you all know that I will be continue covering these teams as the year goes on. But I never tell anyone to subscribe because I figured if someone wants to subscribe, they're going to subscribe. But I'm just saying this. I'm just saying it now because just to let everyone know that I will continue to talk about these teams throughout the entire year. But as always, I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you later.